Welcome inside Bud Walton Arena to SEC Women's Gymnastics, powered by Sprouts Farmers Market. So glad to have you along, and what a way to close out the SEC weekend. This is the last meet here of the first week of SEC Gymnastics. Number 6 Auburn on the road to take on the hosts, the 10th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. Hi there again, along with national champion Kennedy Baker. I'm Alex Perlman. Oh, what a treat this is. Two teams loaded with talent. Didn't make it to the national championship in Fort Worth last year, and that's the goal this season.
Totally. This is their first SEC dual meet. These teams are very evenly matched. We have a really good lineup coming up.
Well, let's start here with the Auburn Tigers, a team that is ranked number 6 in the country right now, that is loaded. What a great start for them, too. 197-105 at home against NC State. You can see the second highest opening score in program history. They are the top vaulting and top team on floor exercise this season, and on vault, a real highlight. You're not going to want to miss this in the second rotation, Paige Zankam's vaults.
Paige Zankam was incredible last week, opened with a 9.975, so close to that perfect 10. Has such a dynamic vault, followed up by Sophia Bell. This is going to be a strong rotation for Auburn.
Zankam has the possibility with that vault of going a perfect 10 here today. We can't wait to see what she has in store. Again, tying a career high. She has come up just close a couple of times. Is this the meet? Jeff Graben now in his 16th season, the architect of this program that has the talent. They have international talent, including Charlotte Booth, who is an alternate for Team Great Britain in the 2024 Olympics. We'll see her a little bit later on. Let's go to Arkansas, a team that is really on the rise. A couple of years ago, they go to nationals, but this is a loaded team on the front end of things because they have the number 2 recruiting class in the country.
They struggled with some injuries that we saw last year, Alex, and all of those people with those injuries are back better than ever, ready to deliver in these lineups. They have a huge program. They've built it up over the years, and now we're going to see what they've exactly built over these years.
Allison Cucci is a 5-star coming in, one of the highest recruits in Arkansas history, and she could be really special going forward.
She came in immediately making a statement. Alex started with a stick on bars and carried it through the rest of her events. Squeaked out that all-around win. We should see another huge competition from her today as well.
And we know that there are going to be better scores than a 39.35 on all-around for her in her career. What do you like about the way that Jordan Weber has built this program and her image?
Jordan has elevated this program to a level I really didn't expect. Jordan is incredible. She's built this program, brought over her UCLA assistant coach experience, and has just really done a great job with this team. I'm impressed with the lineups that she's made and the recruits that she's gotten to the program.
Jordan, the gold medalist in London with the Fierce 5, including one of her assistants, Kyla Ross. Arkansas starts on vault. Auburn will be on bars to begin, but the Razorbacks at home have the first routine. It's from the sophomore Jaleel Lang, her only event of the night.
Great start, clean Yurchenko full. I'm reminding the audience that vault starts from a 9.95. It's a half the 10th down from that 10.0 start value, so she won't receive the full points of the 10.0, but strong start for Jaleel Lang on the vault.
Arkansas will have 4 10.0 start values, which is a really strong way to begin the season. Auburn on bars had a 49.0 last week. That was their lowest scored event against NC State. Had to count 2 scores in the 9.7s and only 23rd in the country right now, and they didn't have that strong a warm-up.
They struggled a little bit, like you said, Alex, in the warm-up. We saw them struggling with their swing on the bars. Every single bars that you go to when you compete in these arenas are different. You have to feel them out, and we saw them trying to find that rhythm in the warm-up earlier.
Here's Marissa Neal, who led off the rotation with a 9.875 last week, stuck her dismount. And Neal, the former elite, competed at the 2023 and 24 U.S. Championships. There is a lot of that elite experience on both sides here. One of 3 all-arounders for Auburn, Neal, Olivia Greaves, as well as Julianne Huff, and then Haley Klein and Morgan Price on the Arkansas side.
Marissa's done a great job of leading off on bars, started really strong last week. Beautiful job on her opening release combination. Clean form throughout. Grab that stick on this double tuck dismount coming up. See if she can do it again. Great start for Auburn. That's exactly how you want to lead it off. That's why Marissa Neal is sitting in the starter role to get the team going.
Second straight week that she begins the rotation with a stick.
And clean stick, Alex. Her feet were slightly apart. You're allowed to have shoulder width apart distance with your feet and cleanly click those heels together without incurring a deduction.
Here's Leah Smith out of Houston. A big hop back on her Yurchenko full. There's another 9.95 start value. She only had a 9.775 last week, but she has achieved perfection on this event.
She's more than capable of a perfect 9.95, which would be, wow!
Not quite, but not too shabby.
Another great vault for Arkansas. Leah starting it off. She nails that vault. Her and Jolie do a great job of finding those landings. Take another look at this Yurchenko full. Watch her flare her arms out at the end. The best vaults in the world. You'll see those arms flare out side by side. Helps them spot the mat a little sooner to find those feet to the floor.
And Arkansas beginning with just a 9.775 on vault. The way it works in college gymnastics, there are 6 gymnasts per event. You only count the 5 highest scores. The lowest score is dropped. So you're allowed 1 mistake, but that is it. There is not a lot of margin for error. Good start here for Auburn with a 9.85 from Marissa Neal. So we just mentioned that. Home order is called Olympic order as well for the home team: vault, bars, beam, and then they finish on floor, which is an event that you want to finish on, especially in this environment. You got to give the Razorbacks athletic department, George Weber, everybody here involved a lot of credit for building this atmosphere.
I'm jealous they get to compete in this arena. I was in the barn when I competed, and it was not as exciting as this. This crowd is electric. SEC competition is always exciting.
I know, Kennedy, you were about to put a Leo on and try some bar work. Season debut here for Emma Grace Boyd.
Great save there from Emma Grace. One of those struggles we talked about in the warm-up. A little short on that cast as well. And came in a little bit too late on that dismount. They'll take a 10th for the hop, and they'll also take a deduction for that last cast handstand as well. Jeff Graba coached her, and I heard him earlier say, be aggressive on the bar. That's what he's looking for his bar team.
Here's the first look at Allison Cucci of the day. Not expected to compete in the all-around this week. She had a 9.9 last week on vault. Jordan Weber said really put the country on notice with it.
Clean, their first 10.0 vault. Really well done, nice landing, just a small hop forwards. If you see a hop coming out of those vaults, especially the forward-facing vaults, you want to see it in the direction that they're landing, which is forward on those 1.5s. It shows that they had a lot of amplitude.
Following up a 9.875 from Leah Smith. So a well-scored Yurchenko full for Arkansas. We will see what the judges do there with Allison Cucci, the first vault that has a 10.0 star value for the Razorbacks. Auburn last week had to count Julianne Huff's 9.775. It was just her collegiate bars debut. She is someone that has been vaulted into the all-around, and an Auburn team that is replacing some pretty important names: Sophia Groth, Olivia Hollingsworth, Sarah Hubbard, Gabby McLaughlin. I mean, these are gymnasts that did kind of everything for them, and especially filling that leadership void, Jeff Graba told us, has been an important part of their preseason.
Jeff Graba has done a great job this season of trying to get that leadership back on track. Like you said, Sophia Groth and the seniors that they had last year were huge contributors. You're going to see a lot of juniors sprinkled throughout their lineup as well, trying to get that experience in their competition.
Kennedy trying to replace that 9.6 from Emma Grace Boyd. You don't want to count that score. Way short on that handstand.
Yeah, you saw that. She rushed the bar a little bit, got the stick on the dismount, came in short on that last handstand. They're going to take a significant deduction again on the cast just because it was so short. I mentioned earlier that aggression that Coach Jeff Graba is looking for in his bar lineup. These bars are different every single time. You have to be patient and wait on them. If they're a little bit tighter, you've got to wait even longer, and I think that's what he's looking for from his team.
Haley Klein, the first of 2 Arkansas all-arounders. Big step back on her vault last week. A big step forward this week.
And like you said, she had that step back last week, so I imagine today she wanted to give it a little more gas and energy than she had previously, resulting in that big step forward. Really nice height off the table, but just couldn't get those arms out in time.
It was her first time competing all around in college last week, just a 39.075. But you would imagine there were some nerves to start out the season, especially at Minnesota. Not an easy place to compete. Charlotte Booth, the freshman from Claremont, Florida, though she competes in the senior elite camp with Great Britain, an alternate for Paris in 2024. Suffered a torn Achilles last February at a 9.8 in her first collegiate bars routine last week, and everybody was just so excited to see her back out there because she can provide a huge boost to this team.
Her debut, Alex, has been highly anticipated. Everybody knows she is capable of big gymnastics. They've been waiting to see it on the collegiate level.
And now Charlotte is going to take some time. Judges conference going on bars right now for Julianne Hough. I would have to imagine that had something to do with the cast handstand. This is where they have to be between. You have to have both judges. Remember, the way that it works in the regular season is you have 2 judges. You average those scores together. But you have to be within a tenth on a score of 9.8 to 10. You have to be within 2 tenths on 9.5 to 9.7, 7.5. I would have to guess that they're in that middle section there.
Debating on what to do with that score. Really hard job for Charlotte right now as a freshman to just kind of wait for her turn to go. When you're up, you're ready to go. You don't expect that you're going to have a wait period before you go. Luckily, she has that elite experience to aid her in her mental routine. Most of these gymnasts prep a mental routine that they do before their actual routine, help them get in the mindset and stay focused so they can deliver good gymnastics.
What would you do right here?
I would have done exactly what Charlotte did. I would have been just thinking to myself, thinking about the corrections that my coach gives me and how I can nail this routine.
There's some pressure right now because Emma Grace Boyd's score of 9.6 might even have to count depending on what the judges do with Julianne Hough's routine. And a lot of pressure right now on Olivia Greaves and Alex Irvine in the 5 and 6 spots.
Charlotte opens with a huge release move. It's called a Ray. Missed it in warm-up, overshot it. Great job, though, in the competition. A little short on the first handstand. And another great save.
I mean, showing a lot of fight. You can't say anything about that.
I have to think that some of her elite experience, you train a lot of cast handstands in elite gymnastics, builds that forearm and grip strength stronger. And pulled that dismount in, really was fighting through that routine, held on just a little bit too long. It's good that she made it to her feet, but they're going to take a significant deduction for that chest position at the end.
And Julianne Hough's score comes in at 9.85. That's the good news for the Tigers.
And you can see she just overshot that cast, had to really fight to keep it on top of the bar.
Here's Lauren Williams, the first in-state recruit here in Arkansas in 10 years. Wow! Her career high is 9.95. We might have just seen the third 10 of the season. Avery Neff for Utah. Jordan Childs for UCLA. Is it Lauren Williams for Arkansas? They've never gotten one before.
If this is the first 10 for Arkansas gymnastics from Lauren Williams, Alex, that was pretty good. Spots that landing, sees assistant coach Chris Brooks. That's gonna be a huge score.
If we don't get one, I would think at least one judge is gonna give a 10. At the very least, that's a 9.95. That was amazing. Lauren Williams, putting everyone on notice, it's a 9.975.
So close to perfection. It's just so good to see Lauren Williams back in these lineups. You see she's emotional, was out last season with an elbow injury, back in and almost perfection. Queen energy. We couldn't ask for anything more.
Lauren qualified for nationals on vault in 2024. We know that she's capable of that kind of score. A new career high for her, 9.975. And I saw 110 go up. You were hoping that the other judge was going to do the same, but a 9.975, outstanding for Lauren Williams.
Olivia Greaves working the bars right now. Great stick on that dismount. Had a little slip out of her release move. Looked like she pulled it in close. Great save for this routine and not getting a deduction on that dismount. They will take a little bit for the release move in between when that grip slips, but.
Right now, Arkansas dropping the 9.725 for Haley Klein. Here's Morgan Price. The senior started her career and started Fisk's program, coming back to Arkansas with her sister. Not bad either.
Small controlled hop. Small deduction, great vault though from Morgan. She has a really clean 1.5, one of my favorites in the NCAA. Look at the flight she gets off the table. Her form is exquisite. Those legs don't come apart at all. Nice job from Arkansas on the vault. Those are huge scores there at the end from Lauren. Morgan's gonna put up another big score. I can't imagine that's lower than a 9.9.
Arkansas is gonna have the lead here after the first rotation. They're gonna drop this 9.725 from Haley Klein. Waiting on Greaves' score. Alex Irvine is going to try to cut this deficit. Had just a 9.75 in the anchor spot last week. Came in from UCLA before last season for Auburn. Hoping to drop the 9.575 from Charlotte Booth here for the Tigers, but they do have to count Emma Grace Boyd's 9.6. Score came in at 9.9 for Morgan Price.
Great opening release move. That was a super clean transition from her Jaeger down to her low bar shoot over. Just the dismount left. Finds the dismount stick. That's going to be Auburn's biggest score in this lineup, and a great bounce back from Alex after a couple of mistakes throughout.
Had to crouch down just a little bit on her dismount, however.
This concludes the first round of competition. Gymnasts, please rotate to your next event. For the second rotation.
Great job trying to spot it. Like you said, had those knees bent a little bit too much, but I can imagine she was trying to save as many tenths as possible after seeing those mistakes throughout the lineup.
Definitely. So Olivia Greaves scores 9.65. Wow, Auburn is going to have to count 2 scores in the 9.6s. If you're new to gymnastics, if you're an SEC team, that is not something you can do and put up a great score. Because both of these teams, remember, Arkansas coming in with a 196.7 in the leadoff spot. That's not necessarily where they want to be. Not a bad start to the season by any means. Auburn with a 197.15. That's a great way to begin, but they're trying to keep up that momentum here on the road.
Yeah, it's hard to create that electric energy on the road as well. They were just at home. This is their first road meet of the season, and a little bit different team as well. We talked about them missing that leadership from last year, and you can see that a little bit. Gonna have to dial it in on vault especially.
Already, though, the highlight is Lauren Williams' 9.975 on vault. Just a spectacular routine right here.
After coming back from an elbow injury, seeing the amplitude off the vault, I'm so proud of Lauren. Great way to vault for Arkansas.
One rotation in the books. Big lead for Arkansas. 6 is presented by Sprouts Farmers Market, official healthy grocer of the Southeastern Conference. Final meet of the weekend. This is the first weekend of SEC gymnastics, and we had some outstanding routines. It was a really great way to start the season, wasn't it? Some of the top routines, though. Let's start with Missouri here for Hannah Horton. I was in the building for this one. 9.925 on floor against Oklahoma.
Very sticky for Hannah Horton as it's gone slightly viral on Twitter, this routine. Electric, almost reminiscent of Amari Celestine energy and Chloe LaCourcier. Beautiful bar swinger, but especially this past weekend against Florida, really delivered for Alabama.
Just short of perfection. Same score that we saw from Lauren Williams here for Arkansas on vault of a 9.975. No problem with the dismount. Florida was able to squeak by Alabama, though, at home. Faith Torres had an excellent meet, and she was amazing as usual on beam at Missouri.
Rinse and repeat for Faith Torres since her freshman year, getting the sticks on beam again for the beam national champion.
How about for the national champion from 2 years ago, Kaylin Chio and LSU?
Sticking her vault like she always does, pretty consistent.
She knew it.
Rinse and repeat for these athletes. Kaylin Chio came back in her sophomore season, ready to go, firing it up, getting the sticks ready for LSU.
Georgia did get the win at home. It's been a rough start for Kentucky, but Anna Flynn Cashin with a real highlight here on vault.
Lost a lot of vault depth last year. Great to see them back better than ever, getting that vault stick and looking super good for Anna Flynn Cashin.
Well, right now, coming into today, Florida is the #1 team in the country unofficially. Look at that, already up by more than a 10th over Oklahoma. Gators look really dangerous, but you can see 8 of those top 10 teams coming from the SEC. So we've got one rotation down. Heading to the second, Arkansas is going to try to build on their lead when they head to bars after that. One of 4 rotations down inside Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas has already opened up a lead of 6 1/4 tenths with an outstanding vault rotation. Some hiccups on bars for Auburn, but this is where they can gain it back. The #1 team in the country on vault, putting up a 49.475 last week against NC State. Olivia Greaves to start.
Better start. Had a hop on that vault last week. Better controlled hop today. I think it was a little bit smaller. Should be a little bit higher score, but especially on those vaults that don't start at a 10.0, you really want to find that landing. Gives you an advantage if you're starting from a 10.0 to take a little bit more deduction.
Arkansas is deepest on bars, according to Jordan Weber. The one event, she said they have 9 to 10 gymnasts truly fighting for spots. They warmed up 9 last week. And it all starts with Jocelyn Robertson, the Olympic alternate.
She's a great starter for Arkansas on bars. Started last season for them as well. Hits her routine. It's just how clean is it hit? Small step back on that dismount. That's going to be her biggest deduction in that routine. Decent start, though. Like you said, they have a lot of room to play on bars. Warmed up 8 or 9 people, saw that warm up, and all their bar swingers are super strong.
And Jocelyn competing at Worlds last fall as well, so she was right back into a lead all summer. Here's Mia Leverton, the freshman.
Great job from Mia. Actually struggled a little bit in the warm-up on that vault. Had a hard time finding her landing. Great job delivering at the competition.
She was second on vault at U.S. Development Nationals last year. Following up Olivia Greaves, 9.725. Remember, they're trying to make up over a 6/10 deficit going into the second rotation.
I like how straight her elbows are on the table. Judges will take a deduction if they see those elbows slightly bent.
Here's Haley Klein as we await the score for Jocelyn Robertson. Klein at a 9.775. It was her collegiate bars debut last week as she was into the all-around for the first time as well. It was never her strength before Arkansas, but Jordan Weber told us that starting freshman year, they went back to the very basics, put all the pieces together really starting last season.
Haley's worked super hard to get into this difficult bar lineup to break into, and has stepped up every single season. Just the dismount left, ends with this double layout. So close to finding the landing, small step backwards, but for not being in bars for 2 years and this is your first year in, pretty good start.
Yeah, she could have fooled me right there. Should be even better than the 9.775 from last week.
And this is where you can really see those basics, like you said, Jordan Weber worked on in her freshman and sophomore year. The form, so much cleaner, and they've just grown and expanded on it every single year.
Jocelyn Robertson's score was a 9.775. Arkansas would very much like to drop that if possible. Marissa Neal following up the 9.825 from Mia Leverton.
Big step forward, had a lot of power off the table. I like the distance, it's really far away. Just couldn't really spot that landing. Has a little more room to play with though. That vault starts from a 10.0. But they will take a sizable deduction for that step. Not only is it a step, but it looked a little out of control, which they can deduct for as well.
Yeah, a step on both feet, it looked like. She had a 9.85 in her collegiate vault debut last week, but that is certainly not going to be up to that number. Leah Smith had a team high 9.875 last week. Started the string of 4 straight sticks to finish the rotation. And we both watched that meet, and Kennedy, we thought maybe a touch underscored as a whole for Arkansas on bars at Minnesota.
The judging was tight for Arkansas. You can tell that they go in practice and really emphasize their basics, like we were talking about with Haley Klein, because they don't have room, they're not given scores. Just the dismount left, got this stick done last week. And again!
Arkansas is on fire here in Fayetteville. So the stick rule for NCAA gymnastics started last year. You have to hold your finishing position for a full second on vault, bars, or beam, or again, it will result in that deduction that you just saw, the half a tenth.
Leah holds her landings really well. She's one of the best quote-unquote stickers we have in NCAA. Big vault from Julianne Huff as well. Had that 1.5, very similar to Marissa Neal's vault. You saw that sizable step. You can tell they're trying to give their vaults a lot of power, just struggling to find those landings. big height, needed to flare those arms out just a little sooner to spot her coaches in there.
How does Auburn get back on track here? Because this is not the meet that they have wanted to have by any means.
Well, I'm looking down their lineup at Sophia Bell, and I think that's their answer. We saw her debut that double for the first time in Auburn program history last week. They need her to drill this next vault.
And here's Avalon Campbell making her collegiate debut, the freshman from California. Exhibitioned on bars last week, was a 5-star recruit along with Allison Cucci, part of the number 2 recruiting class in the country for Jordan Weber. And what an opportunity for her now, stepping up and following Leah Smith's 9.875. Kennedy, these scores continuing to build as we get deeper into the lineup on bars.
Did a great job last week in the exhibition spot. The exhibition spot is harder to compete in. You're at number 7. That's not even technically a real lineup spot. Clean lines throughout this routine. I love her toe point extension. Small step forward. Great debut though for the freshman. That's her first time in lineup. And her form is phenomenal. A little early on that dismount. Probably was excited and just came out a little too soon, but that'll come with time and experience.
All right, here's Sophia Bell. You mentioned it, Kennedy, the first Auburn gymnast to compete a Yurchenko double, and she stuck it for a career-high 9.925. Oh, does Auburn need a repeat here inside Bud Walton Arena?
Pretty close. A small scoot, if you will, backwards. Could have even honestly been the mat. Looked like the mat slid a little bit. Tried to find her feet to the floor. That is such a difficult vault. That is an elite level vault. You only see the best in the world do it because it's just that hard to do. And Sophia's in that conversation, gets so much height and amplitude off the table. That's a hip rise that she receives in the air. Well done. Jeff Grabus excited
Yeah,
about
it's got
that
Jeff Grabus smiling. Why is it so hard to do?
You gotta have a lot of power. You've got to be able to twist and get flight off the table. A lot of people can do one or the other, not usually both, but Sophia's just that good.
9.875 for Leah Smith. We'll wait on what Avalon Campbell come in. 9.8. Solid, and now her fellow freshman Allison Cucci had a 9.825 last week, including a stick on her dismount.
Opens with this high pack salto. Almost a full second before she hits the low bar. Has a lot of height on that. Something that Jordan Weber really likes about her gymnastics is her emotional maturity when she's competing. And you see that in that stuck dismount. She looks like a senior out there only in her freshman season. She's got a big career coming.
Hogs came to play tonight.
Legs are completely glued together. Hips are flat. Sometimes on those double layouts, you'll see them really pike them down. Chris Brooks, their bar coach, does an excellent job of training the technical skills like their releases and double layouts, and you see it in that dismount like Allison Cucci.
Back to Auburn East, Paige Zancan.
Sizable chest forward at the end. That vault is so hard, probably the hardest vault in NCAA gymnastics. Most people just do the second part of that vault, not this first front handspring. They just do the second one. To do 3 skills in a row is really challenging on an event like vault.
She had a career high 9.975 last week. Not gonna match that here, but we will wait and see on the final score for what Auburn's vault rotation looks like. Julianne Huff's 9.7 most likely is going away. Morgan Price is gonna finish it out now here for Arkansas. 9.85 in her Arkansas bars debut last week. What a talented gymnast, a 6-time national champion, 3-time All-American at Fisk starting the program as the first HBCU to have gymnastics.
Something Morgan really excels at is her form. Very pretty lines on every event, shows them off on bars. Small step back, maybe half a tenth in deduction. Clean work on top of the bar. Great job with her handstands. This is that form I was talking about. Such a competitor, head coach Jordan Weaver says. A perfectionist, and you see that throughout her gymnastics.
Arkansas is guaranteed to add to their advantage halfway through. We're just waiting to see what Morgan Price's score comes in as. It can't get lower than a 49.175, and on vault just a 49.025 for Auburn, who is going to have to turn it around on beam as well as floor, but they have the top score in the country this year with a 49.5. They can absolutely light it up on that event. So if they are going to come back in this meet, it could very well start on floor.
They're really strong this year on floor. They have some high-flying E-passes. This is where they get their bounce back. Their warm-up on floor looked really strong.
So a 9.85 comes in here for Morgan Price. They are definitely going to drop Jocelyn Robertson's 9.775 to lead off. And so it's a 49.25 for Arkansas on bars. You know, they've started to kind of get a feeling about them, Kennedy. You and I were talking about it before the meet. Finally, I think the talent matches a run at a national championship potentially, or at least a national championship berth, I should say, because the way that they have started is incredibly impressive.
It is impressive. I think we talked about kind of building the pieces. There's so many pieces to these college teams to get them to that national championship, and I think Jordan Weaver has that perfected spell or whatever it is that's going to get them there this year.
All right, we're joined by Auburn head coach Jeff Graba. Jeff, not the meet through two rotations you were looking for. How do you guys reset going into a really strong event for you?
I don't know. You didn't think it was what we were looking for? No, we're having trouble finding our energy. We're a little bit all over the place right now. It's probably that away meet stuff, but this is a good event for us. So we've got to go and challenge them. Let's put that behind us. Let's start a two rotation meet. So, you know, floor should be good for us. Let's see what they do.
All right, Jeff. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, so Auburn looking to get back in this meet, though they are down by 8.5 tenths. Not impossible, but they have a mountain to climb here going to floor, and Arkansas will be on beam. Halfway home here in Fayetteville, coming back after this.
Was just everything wrapped into one. It felt like home.
It's been a dream of hers to be here at Arkansas.
My favorite gymnast growing up was Jordan Weaver. Having her as a coach is so surreal. That's my idol.
She's my Arkansas.
Jocelyn is so fun to coach. She loves gymnastics. She's incredibly talented, but also just a great teammate. She's always had that team-oriented mindset.
She brings such energy and enthusiasm.
She wants to be the best that she can be.
When she hits the floor, everybody gathers round. She's the sweetest thing that ever hit town. If you ever see her, oh, you be Arkansas bound.
She loves being a part of this program, and I have no doubt she's going to help us get to greatness.
She's my Arkansas. Arkansas.
Kind of the heartbeat of this team. Not competing all around here today, but someone that is so accomplished on the world level. Was at World Championships in the fall, won bronze on vault, and then took some time off to rest her foot. It was kind of barking, which you would understand coming off of a full collegiate season before that.
Oh yeah, she has a totally different preseason training to balance out her elite obligations and her collegiate obligations. Does a great job of maintaining her body. It's a hard sport to be back-to-back competing. really balances it out, talks with assistant coach Chris Brooks to figure out what they need to do to get her where she needs to be.
We will see Jocelyn anchor Arkansas on beam, who is up by 8.5 tenths. Does Auburn have inside Bud Walton Arena? Alex Perlman, national champion Kennedy Baker back with you. Arkansas, after one rotation, had a big lead. It's even larger halfway home. They lead by 8.5 tenths. So this is going to be difficult on the road for Auburn to come back, but not impossible. Arkansas is going to have to open the door here on beam, but Auburn goes to floor, where they have been excellent so far.
Auburn can definitely come back on floor, ranked #1 in the country. They've got a huge floor lineup coming up. Gotta deliver, though.
They still have the top floor score in the country against NC State last week. It was a 49-5. So to do that week 1 is just exceptional. It shows you what they are capable of, but we know that there's a lot of talent on this team. We have not seen it yet with clean routines in this meet. For Arkansas on beam, they begin with Madison Gustitis, the sophomore, transfer from San Jose State, her only event.
A consistent beam worker, one of the reasons Jordan Weber recruited her. Well done on that acro series. All athletes are required to do 2 acro elements in a row. One in the flighted position, that means no hands touch the beam.
Tough for a newcomer, too, to step right into the leadoff role that was held by the always steady Callista Gomyao.
Callista was one of the best college beam starters of all time. Hard shoes to fill, but Madison's doing a great job. Clean stick on that dismount. That is exactly the energy you want starting off your beam lineup, calm, cool, and collected, and Madison does exactly that. Switch leap right into her gainer pike. Really clean form on that gainer. The leg should be completely extended throughout.
Nice start there for Arkansas on beam. Gustitis had a 9.8 in her Arkansas debut. So here's Auburn. Now we really get the party started with Bryn Bartman on floor, the redshirt sophomore. She led off that massive rotation with a 9.85 last week.
Bryn's a beautiful dancer. Has this contemporary lyrical routine. Chatting with head coach Jeff Graba in our interviews, I asked who does the choreography now. They had Gabby McLaughlin, their senior last year, did them for all the routines, and a lot of these routines are done by actually Alex Irvine, who you'll see, who was in this lineup last week, not this week. Oh, saves it, so close to that white line.
I didn't see a flag. Any part of the foot, or any body part for that matter, touches outside the blue, it's going to be a 10th deduction, but I think she stayed in.
Nice opening tumbling pass. And closes with this double pike. Felt herself really close to that line, keeps it in bounds. No out of bounds deduction there, no tenths off. She held on to that one.
Arkansas started on beam with a terrific 9.85. They had to count Haley Klein's 9.75 last week. Only competed beam 3 times last year. A little bit of a newer event for her in the all-around.
Similar to Callista, she opens with a difficult layout, step out, 2 connected in a row. You're not gonna see her put her hands down at all. athletes have to put their hands down on the first one to make sure it's straight. She has so much flight and power off the beam. She doesn't need to put them down at all. One of Haley's strengths as a gymnast is her demeanor. She is always calm. I never see her riled up. I never see her too excited. She's always just chill. And I think that really aids in her consistency in gymnastics. Just a step on that dismount. Solid score though for Haley, setting up the lineup well, keeping the ball rolling. This is that acro series. Look at the hip rise off of the beam. Such a strong series, well done.
9.75 for Bryn Bartman on floor. And you can tell with Arkansas with that 8 tenths and a half lead that is, that Auburn has to start gaining on them. And certainly Arkansas needs to stay on the beam in order to keep that going. But we need to see some big scores coming up here for Auburn. And maybe it's with Marissa Neal. She is adding floor tonight to make her all-around debut.
Slide back on that first pass. Beautiful execution in the air. The form was really clean.
They'll take a deduction for that slide, won't they?
They will take a deduction for that slide. You've got to keep your front foot planted and show the judges that you held on to it. If they see that scoop backwards, they're going to take a half a tenth or full tenth off.
But you can take that lunge back.
You can take the lunge backward. As long as you hold on to your front foot, no deduction for a lunge. Difficult last pass, front through to double tuck. Well executed. Strong start for Marissa Neal. She's having a great season. One of those leaders that Jeff Graba is looking to help lead this program. Clean form in the air, and you see that scoop backwards, just couldn't keep weight on that front foot. Biggest deduction in her routine though, very clean work throughout.
Already Neal with a 9.75 on vault, 9.8 on bars for her all-around evening. To Allison Cucci we go. 9.825 for her last week for the 5-star recruit. Arkansas tonight, 11 of 14 scores have been over 9.8.
Arkansas is doing a great job of building off of the consistency they even had last year. With head coach Jordan Weaver behind this program, you can tell the Olympic experience that she has given to these athletes, helping them compete even better. Allison with just the dismount left, ends with this round off 1.5 forward-facing dismount. Perfect stick. Great job from the freshman. Such a cool competitor. No deduction on this dismount at all. Arkansas really putting emphasis on their form and skills.
Now competing for Auburn on floor, Olivia Ahern.
You know, last year for Jordan Weaver, just an odd year, a lot of adversity from so many angles. They didn't get to go to SECs. They're the only team that was left out. Thankfully, that has been rectified. All 9 teams will make it to postseason this year. Then they weren't allowed to compete at Oregon State. They lost Frankie Price, of course, at regionals, which was a real blow, hoping that this is a little bit less eventful from that way. All right, Olivia Ahern replacing Marissa Neal, or rather coming after Marissa Neal's 9.85.
start on her opening tumbling pass. From our angle, she actually punched a little bit sideways. Luckily, the judges are from the side. Can't see that it was a little bit off center. Good effort trying to dance out of that as well. Looked a little under-rotated. Did a great job covering it though, couldn't really tell. Strong start, doing a good job of building the momentum, getting it back on track for Auburn. Really like their choreography. I mentioned it earlier that Alex Irvine is one of their choreographers for the team. Jeff Graba likes to grab different people, wants their floor choreography to be diversified and look different. Not everybody's the exact same.
We will see Olivia coming up to lead off beam in the 4th rotation as well. Couple of 9.85s counting at the moment. We're dropping Haley Klein's 9.825. This is just what Jordan Weber and Kyla Ross there in the background, the Olympian, wanted to see. Continue to keep that pressure on Auburn, especially when you're on beam. Oh.
Uncharacteristic mistake for Cammie Weaver, has been a staple in this Arkansas lineup for the past 2 and 3 years.
Reminder though, Kennedy, you can drop one score. So obviously the 9.825 from Klein will count, but that's fine. That's a great score to count if Morgan Price and Jocelyn Robertson can hit. If not, well, we have taken a foot to a door with a roundhouse kick.
This could be a game changer depending on what Morgan and Jocelyn respond with after Cammie dismounts off of the beam. Luckily, both are seasoned beam workers, able to handle pressure really well, but they have a big job to do. Great dismount from Cammie. You want to close it out strong. We mentioned the score gets hopefully dropped. You don't want to count it, but if they do have to count it, you want every single 10th that you can get back. Really didn't look that crooked over the top of the beam. Just looked like she didn't have enough weight on her front foot. In those acro series, you'll see the ones that are stuck the best, they stay forward on their first foot.
Two very reliable gymnasts, though, in Price and Robertson to close out the rotation for Arkansas. Auburn now with Julianne Huff. She started the stretch of 3 straight 9-9 plus scores to end the rotation last week, hoping for the same to try to get Auburn back in.
Check this first pass out there. First E-level tumbling pass, full twisting double tuck.
Nice.
Last week against NC State, did a really good job on that pass, even flared it out. Similar performance today. Closes with this last pass, kind of unique as well. 3 combination elements in a row. Usually you see only 2 front full front tuck. Great routine from Julianne. Auburn needed that. That's going to be their highest floor score so far. This is so powerful. The rise, she gets off of the floor, immediately pops that chest up to the lunge. You'll notice she kind of jumped out to lunge. We talked about going to the lunge, that it's not a deduction. When you see them kind of pop out to that lunge, no deduction there as well. They're allowed to do that.
Julianne Huff, who's returning after foot surgery at the end of last season, hadn't done all around in 2.5 to 3 years, but she has to be a staple this year. All right, now the pressure is on the last 2 for Arkansas following Cammie Weaver's fall in a 9.275. Morgan Price had a couple of huge wobbles against Minnesota on the road last week.
And this is where one of those wobbles was on that acro series. Same series that we just saw Cammie Weaver do. And drills it today. Great effort working through her single element. That front aerial you just saw, just the dismount left, closes with a double twist after her lead pass. And those splits are well above 180 degrees. If she can find her feet to the floor, this is going to be a huge score.
You're not going to get 2 down meets in a row for Morgan Price.
That is not Morgan Price's gymnastics. This is Morgan Price's gymnastics. She is a competitor. That's what Jordan Weaver loves so much about Morgan Price. Last week was a little bit off, not this week. Finds those feet, something she's really good at.
She's going to be the leader in the clubhouse, I think, as well for the all-around. 9.9, 9.85 for her on vault and bars, respectively, and beam is going to be a massive score right there. Olivia had a 9.95. It was a new career high for her last week. Reset it of 9.9. Someone who is just extremely improved every single year that she has been here, the redshirt junior from Staten Island, New York.
And this all-around performance from Olivia has been highly anticipated, has battled injuries throughout her career, finally is out there competing all 4 events this season. Impressive save. Came out of that first skill, that front tuck, a little bit short, had to fight to find her legs on the second part of that pass, the double tuck.
How tough is that?
Tough. I'm actually surprised she made that. You have to have a lot of leg strength and experience, and you can see her elite experience shining through to know to hold on to her second part of that pass like that. Nice way to close it out for Olivia. A little short on that first pass. You'll see right here, her legs kind of give out. Doesn't really have those elbows all the way extended. Can't really get the correct punch she usually does off the floor. Great job of finessing it. And you see her teammates doing her routine on the side.
Morgan Price's score was a 9.925 for Arkansas. Ken, in a lot of ways, this is the meet right here. Yes, things can happen on floor, more likely to happen on beam, of course. And if Jocelyn Robertson nails this beam routine like she's capable of, which she did last week, tying her career high with a 9.95, Arkansas is really going to be in the driver's seat.
Arkansas has yet to get a perfect 10 in program history. And if there's someone that's ready to do it, it's Jocelyn Robertson. Even last week, I thought she was kind of underscored. That 9.95 could have been a 10. Her acro series, I love the way she does this. It's so aggressive on top of the beam. 2 elements without her hands again.
She threw the toughest part.
Just the dismount left. Does a good job of spotting coming out of this.
I thought you were going to say does a good job calling the hogs right there.
Well, that too. Oh! If that's not a 10, I'm going to be upset.
Judges have something to think about here. Lauren Williams was just off on vault with a 9.975. Did Jocelyn Robertson, the top recruit in Arkansas history, make history?
I think we might see it, Alex. That routine was pretty much what she did last week, and I thought it should have gone 10. This is difficult to say the least. That acro series is one of the hardest in collegiate gymnastics. Perfection on this dismount, finds her feet easily to the floor. And we wait for the crowd and judges' reaction.
Can't do it much better than that. Sophia Bell, the anchor now for Auburn, that is, here on floor. She's capable of a huge score. She had a 9.95, which is a career high last week.
We've talked about Sophia's power and strength, and you're gonna see that in about 2 seconds on her last tumbling pass. It is so high that she flares it out.
Kennedy, you're not gonna be happy with that score coming in here for Arkansas, Jocelyn Robertson. She did equal what she did last week, 9.95.
Watch this flare out from Sophia Bell. Has to let go of her legs. She's so high in the air. If she holds on, she'll fly out of the arena. Has to let go so she can spot it and stick it. And yes, Alex, I'm very upset about Jocelyn Robertson. I'm sorry, Jocelyn.
So Arkansas is going to have a 49.4 on beam, which ties LSU. No, actually, it would tie Missouri for the high this season. 9th best score in the country on beam. Whatever it was, another really solid rotation here for Arkansas. They close it out with back-to-back 9.925 plus scores.
And they'll only build off of that, Alex. We're at meet number 2 in this very long season. Going with a 9.85 and ending with a 9.95 is exactly the place you want to be at this point in the season.
So this could end up being somewhere close to a full point lead after 3 rotations for Arkansas. That is not something that we had on our bingo card coming in.
We said that this meet was evenly matched. Both teams are pretty close in terms of skill level and scores, but Arkansas is on a roll, okay?
We are joined by Arkansas head coach Jordan Weber. You guys have continued to build throughout the entire meet. What has led to all of this success here in front of a great crowd?
Well, the message to the team tonight was just, let's be a little bit better than we were last week. We're not trying to win a national championship tonight, but we want to take a step towards that. So I'm really proud of the way they're performing, but we're getting a little bit better than we were last week.
A little different floor lineup this week, Jordan. You've got some new people, some people back in the lineup. What are you looking forward to most on the last event?
Well, this crowd has been amazing, so we're going to put on a great show for them. We're happy to have some familiar faces back in the lineup, so I'm excited for that, and hopefully we can finish this meet on a strong note.
All right, Jordan, fantastic meet so far. We will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for the time.
Sounds good. Go Hogs.
All right, well, Auburn is down by over a point. 148.025 to 146.975 with 3 rotations in the books. Hogs are going to floor. They're going to have a party in just a few minutes.
We started with 36 teams, now it's 4. Only 1 will be the national champion.
Nothing compares to an NCAA team title.
Opening pass, again, beautiful.
Look at that. You look closely, she's smiling when she does that.
Hoping for a stick here.
They needed that.
That's why she's an Olympic champion.
And look how she's able to deliver. It doesn't even matter. That was rock star status beam routine. She just drills the landing.
Audrey Davis, exceptional bar routine, exceptional gymnast.
The moment belongs to Oklahoma. Now, the road to redemption for the Sooners is complete.
4th in the last 6 years for Oklahoma as well. Friday night, taking a look back at that national championship season, granting you an all-access pass to never before seen footage and sound from players and coaches. It's a real behind the scenes look. 6:30 Eastern, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN. SEC Women's Gymnastics is presented by Sprouts Farmers Market, official healthy grocer of the Southeastern Conference. Jordan Weaver has been on fire, asking for 10s multiple times because they are very much deserving of them. This has been an incredible meet here for Arkansas. They have continued to add to their lead, and it is now over a full point going into the fourth rotation. Hi there again, Alex and Kennedy back with you. So what is in store now for us here on floor, where we know how good Arkansas is? One of the highlights is certainly going to be the return of Frankie Price.
Frankie Price and Lauren Williams are back in this floor lineup. They have huge skills, and they're competing for the first time since last year. We have a big rotation coming up.
How impressed are you with Arkansas here tonight?
Incredibly impressed. Arkansas looks like a team that wants to win the national championship, and Jordan Weaver has cultivated this program to be able to be to that level.
The talent is there, the #2 recruiting class in the country. They've got the home environment that we have been waiting years for. You know, it takes time to build. It doesn't happen overnight, but it certainly seems like that has happened here in Arkansas. What a great time for Jocelyn Robertson to come to this program and get the chance to continue to make history here in Northwest Arkansas. Fourth rotation sees Auburn go to Beam, a 49-175 for them last week. Every score counting was a 9.825 or 9.85, and Olivia Ahern is going to start things off. Emma Weary checked that. Emma Weary, who fell earlier on. Correction. Olivia Ahern was not supposed to be the opener. It was supposed to be Emma Weary, the West Virginia transfer. This is Olivia Ahern, who is starting things off. She was the leadoff on Beam last week with a 9.85.
Olivia doing a good job starting off the lineup for Auburn. Difficult to be back in lineup when you weren't originally in the lineup, and even more difficult to start at an away meet, and she does such a good job, nails that dismount, has even modified that routine from last year, added in the wolf double turn. Well done for Olivia. Has some patience off the beam on that 1.5 twist and easily finds her feet to the floor.
Arkansas is going to look to put an exclamation point on a really exciting home opener. On floor, they had a 49-175 last week at Minnesota. All 6 scores between a 9.8 and a 9.875. So that means we're looking for our first 9+ of the season for Arkansas in this event. And I think we probably are going to get it. Haley Klein had a career-high 9.9 last year.
Haley brings the energy on this floor routine, starting from this first pass, front through to double tuck. A lot of power there. You saw that big lunge backwards. Might take a little deduction just because it was a big lunge. Great job of staying in bounds, though. Clean leap combination as well. Something that Arkansas and head coach Jordan Weaver have put an emphasis on is their leaps. Leaps in collegiate gymnastics are more difficult than they used to be because they've taken out a pass. Most athletes only do 2 passes, like Haley, who closes with this front layout, front full. Nice start for Arkansas, gets that landing. Watch the power that she has out of this front full, spots it Puts her arm straight out to the side.
And Haley Klein leads off with a hit for Arkansas. Now, Alex Irvine, the junior, following up Ahern's 9.775, earned her spot in the lineup because she had a 9.9 in her exhibition last week. So exhibitions are massively important to SEC coaches and coaches certainly around the country because they fuel decisions.
Alex Irvine has some unique skills throughout this routine. Head coach Jeff Graba was regretting not putting her in lineup last week. That's why those exhibition spots are so important. You really get to test out people and see how they would do in the lineup. Such a cool leap combination.
You don't see that one very often.
No, you don't.
One hand down.
Yeah, and she does a gainer, so that's off of one foot and then only puts one hand down. Finds the landing on the dismount. Beautiful routine and work from Alex. That's exactly what Auburn needed to get the momentum and keep it going. This is that cool leap pass. This is a gainer back handspring step out with one hand. So most people take off from 2 feet and put 2 hands on the beam. She doesn't need that. Also, it's the moonwalk. It's giving choreographer.
This is Georgia. No, it's Auburn.
We don't talk about that, Alex.
Morgan Price won the floor title with a 9.875 in Minnesota last week. A 9.75, that's all she needs to clinch the all-around title.
And the energy just amped up a little bit when Morgan stepped on the floor. Heard a little ooze from the crowd with the sticky intro. Oh, and the Prices can dance.
Could having finally both Price sisters on the same team be the X factor for Arkansas?
It's definitely a factor. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the X.
Maybe
They just
the
bring
S
this
factor.
energy, Alex. Originally, Morgan Price was committed to Arkansas before she went to Fisk. Knew that she wanted to come here, and having the sister duo, iconic.
It's very cool to finally get to see that. That was always going to be the plan, but Morgan gets the best of both worlds, I should say.
She does.
The opportunity to compete and start out her career at an HBCU. Finish at Arkansas.
Nice job. That's a difficult last pass, 2.5 twist. Got to have a really good air awareness, which she does. Period. Check out the height on this opening pass. Opens her hips before she even gets into the skill. So good. And again, this 2.5 twist, flares her arms out at the right moment, had so much power and momentum coming off the floor.
Have to wait for the official word, but that all but seals the all-around for Morgan Price. Alex Irvine's score was a 9.9. How about for your collegiate beam debut starting off with that massive tally? Here's Hannah Hagel. She's the only senior on this team, one that is young, that is still working to get fully healthy. Don't sleep on Auburn. I think maybe, teams have off days, right? Is that what you make of what's happened with the Tigers here today?
I think they're just a little bit off. I'm not counting Auburn out for a second. You know Kiko Dong's in that lineup. Eventually she's coming. They have a great program. It's just about finding your rhythm. This is also their first road meet. A lot of elements and factors going on here today. Battling back from injury. Paige Zancam is in all these lineups. Hannah Hagel doing a good job keeping it on the beam. Slight wobbles throughout, but they need to stay on top of the beam. If they have a fall, it's going to be really difficult to bounce back from that. Closed it out well. Probably gonna wanna be the score they drop. They're gonna take tints for those minor wobbles and bobbles throughout the routine. Looking to Julianne to pick that energy and momentum back up.
You know, you want to get better as the season goes on. That's exactly what Arkansas has done from last week, an improvement on vaults. You're talking 2.5 tenths on bars and over 2 tenths as well on beam. Jordan Weber's going to be happy about that. All right, Leah Smith following up Morgan Price's 9.8. She answered the phone and then put it back down. Now she's ready to go. Lee had a 9.85 last week, so with that 9.8 for Price, she officially clinches the all-around, her first all-around title for Arkansas.
And every year, Leah's performance has just gotten better and better. Keeps it in bounds, finds her feet on that double tuck. Kind of looked like her legs gave out a little bit there.
Where's Arkansas in the national picture right now?
They're a team to beat, that's for sure. I feel like in comparison to other teams, they know that Arkansas has strong lineups. They have heavy hitters, and now they're kind of at this built stage of their program, really putting out the gymnastics that they've built up to over the years. And the phone's back down. She hung it up.
Hang it up.
Good routine from Leah. A little stumble on that first pass. Did a great job of bringing back the control and finishing the routine well.
Well, Jordan Weber told us that, you know, right now they're not worried about hitting routines, which may have happened in the past. They're worried about the details. That's a great spot to be in when you're this early on in the season. Hannah Hagel's score was 9.675 for Auburn on beam, looking to get rid of that one with Huff, Greaves, and Neal to close out the meet on beam.
Julianne Huff opens with a difficult series, the same one that we saw from Jocelyn Robertson. Wow, I'm so impressed. You might not have noticed it, but her first skill, that foot was really not on top of the beam. To battle back on the layout step out, it takes that upperclassman leadership in her junior season to really get that back on track, not freak out, stay grounded to the beam. Just the dismount left. Gainer full. Small step backwards. Again, I'm just so impressed that she kept her acro series on top of the beam. They needed that hit. And you'll see that front foot, the heel slid off, her toe almost slid up.
Wow, what a great look there. That takes some leg strength, huh? Here's Lauren Williams. Already a 9.975 for the Rogers, Arkansas native on vault as she performs her first floor routine since last year's season opener. And she underwent elbow surgery right after that was done.
And she is more than capable of putting up a 10.0 on this event as well. Opens with this huge full twisting double tuck, an E-level tumbling pass. And the crowd is hyped. I don't know if you can hear it in the back. They're chanting, "Let's go, Lauren, clap, clap."
Yeah, they're serenading her as she gets set. Here to compete on floor.
Cool that Lauren is Arkansas's first homegrown gymnast. I'm sure she has a lot of fans from Arkansas in this crowd just for her.
Lauren is ready to go.
Check this out. Watch the height she gets off the floor.
Yes!
Oh my gosh, that was so good. And such a performer. You can tell that Lauren loves to dance. These athletes put a lot of emphasis on their choreography, practice it as well. These facial expressions, they have trained and choreographed into their routine as well. I'm sure Lauren didn't have to choreograph all her smiles, though.
No, I think those are pretty genuine. And who doesn't love when you throw the worm into a floor routine? That's her calling card.
Wow.
That's
Fantastic.
a memorable return to the lineup and to the floor inside Bud Walton Arena in front of her hometown fans.
That was pretty excellent, Alex. I'm speechless. Didn't say much because I don't have much to say. The crowd's chanting 10 again tonight for Lauren Williams, her second chant. And I can't say it wouldn't be deserved. Opens up early on that pass just to spot it because she's so high in the air.
It's going to be a big score. Her career high, 995, which she has gotten 8 times for Lauren Williams. We'll have to see what the judges think. Olivia Greaves was a little inconsistent on beam last year. She's finishing out her all-around day.
And had a great save on that wolf double turn. Has also modified this routine a little bit. You mentioned that inconsistency. That first skill they changed. It used to be a side aerial. They added in a front aerial instead. She's shown great improvement on this routine as well from last year. I think she's more comfortable with this one.
I just saw the score flash, by the way, for Lauren Williams. One judge had a 9.95 and one had a 9.8. A 9.8 for that.
That does not make sense.
So surprising.
Does not make sense. Olivia Greaves closing it out strongly, did her job on the beam. I don't think it's enough to beat out Arkansas, unfortunately. But this score matters. These routines matter at the end for Auburn, even if they don't get the win, because all of this contributes to their national qualifying score, which will play a huge part later in the season.
Well, we cannot wait to see some incredible gymnastics coming up after us. How about Georgia, Oklahoma, Kentucky, LSU is on Friday as well on SEC Network, and then we will close it out. I'll be there with Anastasia Webb, 8:45 Eastern on SEC Network. The #1 Gators against the Auburn Tigers, who, Kennedy, you know, are very different when they compete at home. So we're gonna have to get this sorted out here for Lauren Williams as Frankie Price gets a chance to have potentially a little bit of a return of her own.
And if you thought this place lit up for Lauren Williams, it's about to go crazy for Frankie Price. We watched her last season, unfortunately, go down in her floor routine at the regional final. This would be her first routine back from that Achilles injury. Everybody has waited on this. We've seen the Instagram videos. She's ready to go.
First routine since last year's regionals. She has worked all the way back and following Lauren Williams' 9.875. Frank Dogg's back in the building.
and she opens with this double layout, E-level pass. Your skills are giving an alphabet letter. In college gymnastics, E and Fs are the hardest skills to compete. Oh, so good! Perfection! She's back and better than ever.
That's got to be a massive confidence boost too, nailing your first pass there.
Of course, and I imagine that Jordan Weber and Frankie wanted to debut this routine in Bud Walton. The crowd plays a factor, it hypes you up. Last tumbling pass for Frankie. Closes with this front full layout. Spots her sister coming out. And ends with the fist. Frankie, welcome back to the floor lineup.
Goes right to her sister. I'll tell you, Morgan and Frankie on the same team is a force.
I'd be nervous if I was an opposing team and I saw the Price sisters on it. I'd know I need to step up my game a little bit because you know they're gonna come in and they're coming in hot.
Biggest cheerleader right there. And we get to finish off the meet with Jocelyn Robertson. What did we do to deserve this treat here on a Sunday evening? Marissa Neal's going to finish off the meet for Auburn. 9-8 from Olivia Greaves. Auburn's not going to win this meet. They're going to try to improve their score as much as possible. This year more than ever, every meet really counts. And at the moment, they're trying to drop Hagel's 9-6-7-5.
Wonderful work from Marissa on the beam. Such a poised competitor. And is used to this pressure spot. Last week, delivered after a fall. Closes with this 1.5 twist blind landing. Can't see her feet coming down. Small hop in place.
Solid way to close it out, though, for Marissa. Competing in the all-around for the first time. We'll wait to see her final score, but strong day.
Marissa is definitely one of the leaders for this team. Not only in her competitive gymnastics, but in her demeanor and how she carries herself and leads the program through.
Let's close it out here at Kennedy with Jocelyn Robertson. 8 career floor routines of 9-9 or better. All of them last year, where she finished out the season going 5 straight. She has come just short of perfection on this event with a 9-9-7-5 a season ago.
Difficult double layout right here.
Ain't much of a thing right there.
Ain't no thing, Alex.
Well, you know, Kennedy, I mean, she needs to dial back her gymnastics with how good she is and how much she still competes elite.
Yeah, she trains harder skills than the one that she competes. Hard when you're a powerful athlete, too, to know the control that you have to have on those skills. That's where that elite experience shines through. Able to handle pressure no matter what she's doing. Also got straight A's this summer as a pre-med major. Head coach Jordan Weber mentioned to us, so Jocelyn is just on a roll. Closes with a front layout through to double tuck, hard to connect. Good routine to close it out from Jocelyn. Slight stumble out of that last pass, if I'm being picky. Looked like it kind of surprised her a little bit, but not this one. Found her feet to the floor so easily. And that's one of the best floor workers in the country, showing us how it's done.
So Arkansas is going to drop the 9.675 from Leah Smith. They are guaranteed to go above the 197 plateau for the first time this season. Just how far above is the question. Auburn's final score comes in disappointing, 196.075. It's going to be a learning experience for Jeff Grabus Tigers, and they're going to welcome in number 1 Florida next week. Neville Arena is going to be rocking, though. No question about that. You see, they've got Florida, then they go to Georgia, who just beat LSU at home in a duel for the first time in 10 years. So that program is feeling really good. And then they'll host Kentucky coming up on February 6th. Arkansas, on the other hand, they're going to step out of conference on Friday with Southeast Missouri, and then they'll face Florida, followed by Georgia. So just a week later, they're with those same two opponents. It was Morgan Price's night in the all-around. She was very impressive, capturing her first as a Razorback.
Morgan Price delivered, to say the least, tonight. That is the competition that we are familiar with from Morgan Price. Fantastic gymnastics from her tonight. Watching her sister compete for the first time in person in an Arkansas leotard.
Morgan certainly enjoying this environment here. One of the best, certainly, she's competed in her time in collegiate gymnastics. And she finishes out with the all-around win with a 39.475. An impressive night all around, I think, for Arkansas. Pun intended, I suppose. But, you know, this is the type of momentum that they were trying to build. And they finish off with an impressive 197.25. That'll close it out here inside Bud Walton Arena. Thanks so much for joining us as Arkansas gets the win here as they start SEC play. With Kennedy Baker for our fantastic SEC Network crew, I'm Alex Perlman saying good night from Fayetteville in Northwest Arkansas. SEC Now is next.